Hi, welcome. We have just a very, very small presentation today. Lots of time for questions if it comes to that. This is just a jumping off point. Today we are talking about stamped sands. So we are just going to jump right in. Stamped sands are produced during the process of refining and processing ores to be used in the industry for making metals, etc., like projects like that. Um, let's see. They occur when the ore is processed. So the ore is extracted from the mines in these large rocks. Then the extra rock is kind of taken off of the ore, the slabs that you collect from the mine, and then they are stamped down, and that's why that's when it's called stamping, is when these rocks are being processed to get the ore alone, versus having them as part of these larger chunks of rock. So that's where the stamping comes in. The process can create a type of residual sand or black powder, and that is kind of the stamp sands that you will see in our environment. So let's see. This ore, especially in the Minnesota area, we have a legacy of mining up in the north of Minnesota. We've got ore ships, we've got ore processing along the North Shore, the Lake Superior North Shore. And so we do have plants along the water just for ease of access. We've got them there. So the ore from the mines can just go straight to this processing plant, and from the processing plant right onto the big ships. And if you have been to like the Duluth area, you will see the lift bridge and the big ships. They also have the ports with the large buckets. So they've um, kind of in the St. Louis River estuary. They've got a few of these very large, like um, brown loading dock areas. And so it's very interesting. It's very cool. It's one of the primary, it was at least one of the primary ways that a lot of the stuff was processed was through bodies of water. So it was transported. Um, so it was taken down to, say, Duluth. Some of it can be transported from there using rail car, the railroads. So we do have that ease of access on the North Shore, and because a lot of this ore does come through Duluth, um, we do have some black sands upon occasion, or tailings from ore shipments. Sand sands can be a detriment to the ecosystem if they accumulate in one area. But with, of course, the Great Lakes do have very, very powerful tides, and so they could very easily become buried, and so it's tougher to um, mitigate that as time goes on. Trying to keep the environment in mind in water safety and environmental safety. Um, the chemicals can leak out, or they can be leached out, pardon me, into the environment, and that can affect fish and plants and just the ecosystems in general. So that's why we want to kind of be mindful of that, just because, with the chemistry of the water, it's important to be mindful and try and maintain that balance that is healthy for the ecosystems that are already in place. There are initiatives in place generally where there are known affected areas, and they try to mitigate any negative consequences associated with stamped sands. Obviously, um, green environmental practices have become more and more um, the forefront of societal initiatives. And so there are some in place. There is one specifically in Michigan that is looking at an affected area in Lake Michigan. But we are from Minnesota, so we are going to be looking at some photos of Lake Superior Park Point. This is an example of what you might see. We do have taconite that is delivered up in the Duluth area. And here is some very fine black residue stamp sand just along the shore. You can see where it's kind of blended. It's just a few, I'd say that's probably a centimeter, um, just above the traditional sand at Park Point. Park Point, if you don't know it, it's up in Duluth. It is a man-made peninsula. The peninsula isn't man-made itself. It's got old growth forest, but the beach along it is man-made. We however long ago poured this sand just along the peninsula, and they wanted it to be a nice swimming area, a nice swimming beach. Um, so but the peninsula is naturally organically there, and it or pardon me, not the, well, yeah, it is, I guess, a peninsula, um, because it goes over to Superior. There's um, another port over in Superior, Wisconsin, for big boats to go through. So, but this is just an example of what I found on the beach one particular day. And so it's something worth talking about. It's, I did not know what it was when I saw it. And so I thought it was very cool, but I kind of recognized that it probably wasn't good environmentally. So that's why we are making the presentation today, to kind of bring it to the forefront of the conversation, to talk about it and see how people are feeling about it. If we want to talk about potential legislative action to regulate, the cleaning of our big ships and um, the processes of transport from the ships to the shore, to kind of keep these black sands from accumulating. So, what what do you feel? Please use the chat function here. That would be great. And we can bring any initiatives to our local governmental representatives. All right, no feedback. That's okay. We will, I'm sure there will be a few social media posts regarding the same information. We will no doubt make a few videos, but just wanting to touch base here and now, and I will talk to you later. Thanks so much.